his head, and there he goes. Abyss gonna clean him up.
Olaf goes down. Everyone's just going to line up here for Lazzy. He's going to find himself the Quadra. Give it to him. Pentakill.
Priestley with the quad feed.
Gets the ace. Available just spin to win all over.
That game was insane.
How are you doing, everybody? My name is Jackson Deprived Brown, and I'm here alongside Dan Banners as we are casting some CollegiateR6 winter regular season. We got some St. Clair College versus Texas A&M action today. Danners, how you feeling about this one?
I'm already coming in hot, just with the fact that our Call of Duty team had a fantastic win earlier today. Unfortunately, I was off stream, but I'm already feeling good. And with the CollegiateR6 that I'm just realizing, I think I put your spelling on. I don't know. I'm just losing my mind here. Don't mind me. But attention span of a goldfish, apparently. But with this matchup in particular, Texas A&M, we've played them in multiple different esports prior to. Solid program, very strong teams for the most part. And it's going to be another one of those nights where the Saints are definitely on paper going to be the underdogs. That being said, though, still very excited for it and the matchup we have coming up.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, St. Clair College really been struggling kind of so far throughout this CR6 league. You know, like you were saying, they made their way up to the Premier Division, and they haven't been able to really execute too hard to them. But if we're in the last game of the season, let's see if they can get a W under their belt. Let's see what they can do. I mean, it's not going to affect really anything for a win, but maybe just improve some team morale and just help them out a little bit, you know, just mentally going into the future matches, whatever it may be, right? So overall, St. Clair just really looking for a win here. Yes, you know, Texas A&M, they have a very good record. They are a very good R6 team. Can we upset them? That's going to be the question today.
Absolutely. Like you're saying, for the most part, it is basically just going to be a matter of just kind of adjusting your final standing, your final results at most here for St. Clair. Because, of course, like we were kind of talking about it a little bit prior to going live here, the whole fact that, yes, like last semester, Saints were doing absolutely fantastic in the open division, was doing like very well, even fought themselves all the way into this Premier Division, which is absolutely exciting, being in the top level of CollegiateR6 competition. But then you're playing up against the top level of CollegiateR6 competition. So it's definitely a much harder field to play up against, and of course, not necessarily going in the Saints' favor. In fact, this is, of course, the final match of their regular season. But no matter what happens today, from what I do understand, there is still going to be one more match sometime in May where the Saints are actually going to have to fight for their spot here in Premier in a relegation match. So there's a lot of things that are going to be on the mind of this St. Clair squad, especially with that relegation game in May being so far down the line. It would be nice to be able to finish off the regular season with a W with the upset here over Texas A&M. But again, like I was saying, it's going to be a tough one, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if they do get a win here, you know, against the Texas A&M squad, like you were saying with that relegation match coming up in about a month or so, whatever it may be, at least their last memory of playing together, like, you know, as a team on an actual league competitive based game, and their last thought of it will be like, hey, we upset Texas A&M, let's come out here, let's win, and let's get this. Like, we're not leaving Premier, like, let's go, we got this. So that's one of the biggest things I feel like you got to keep in mind right now if you are from the side of St. Clair College, right? You're keeping that in the back of your head, saying, hey guys, let's just get a dub here. And you know, if they do get the dub here, they do get that upset, like we were saying, hopefully the momentum wise will probably stay in their minds during that relegation matchup. So this could really help out the side of the Saints.
Absolutely. Of course, looking at the maps that we're going to be playing on here tonight, of course, if those who've been tuning in here to the season of CollegiateR6, as soon as I list off the maps, you're going to kind of start worrying here a little bit with me, considering that Oregon, of course, is map number 1 that we're going to be going here today. I don't think I've seen the Saints win here all season, nor have they even gotten close all season. It's just been one of those maps that's just been such a hard nut to crack here for the St. Clair squad. However, if we get through that map, like, just get it done and over with, at least it's game number 1, because then we play 2 maps that they're at least a little bit more comfortable with. Well, map number 2, rather, Cafe. I mean, we've seen this basically in every single matchup here in this CollegiateR6 season, the classic 3-floor top-down style as Thanos takes Jackson down. But then We also have Consulate for game number 3, which of course is a map that basically everybody would have played to death, whether it be on the ranked ladder or even with scrublords like myself. It's in the newcomer list. So I mean, like, you've played Consulate, you've figured out this map by now, and you've strategized for it. So like Saints definitely in map 2 are going to feel super comfortable. If we can get to game 3, I feel like it's going to be a pretty even bloodbath, but we'll have to see as we move on forward. It's just a matter of how do we get through Oregon. Maybe the Saints pull off the upset here. Like, pretty much against any team. If I see Saints on Oregon, I kind of cringe a little bit, but it would be cool to see because, of course, maybe didn't see it the last couple of weeks, so maybe something switched up within that time. And, well, of course, like I keep saying, we'll have to see as we move on forward.
Yeah, well, Danners, as viewers may not know back at home, but I am a fairly new eye set to Rainbow Six Siege in general. Really just taking this one up, trying to well round my casting self a little bit. So, cut me a little slack here on the viewership today. I'm going to be doing more of a play-by-play today, as Danners is going more of a little bit of a color style type of thing. So, overall, I mean, yeah, like I can't really say, how strong or how weak currently like the R6 team has been lately on a certain map with certain characters, whatever it may be, certain operators, sorry. But yeah, so basically at this point in time, I'm just going in, I'm gonna go by analysis right of what's happening on the screen. And yeah, so Danner's gonna give you a little bit more of that intellectual's insight of things where, I'm just gonna be telling you guys what's happening right in front of your eyes. So that's just what I want to give you guys a little bit of information on that one quick. But overall, we shouldn't have too much longer until we get started here.
We're right around the corner. We have 4 players in each lobby, so we should be getting started very, very shortly here. And of course, yes, of course, he picked the final map or the final match of this entire season to come give Rainbow Six Siege a shot. But I tell you what, do it once or twice, and you absolutely fall in love with it and its complexity. Like, instead of, like, obviously you're familiar with FPSs and whatnot, so of course like Counter-Strike or COD or something like that, but I always, like I said in the background, think of this as Counter-Strike, but instead of dealing with economy, you're dealing with basically every wall being exploitable, every piece of environment being exploitable, and that's where the complexity is, alongside a little bit of operator abilities and guns and switch-ups and whatnot. Unfortunately, we do seem to have you disappeared once again, but yeah, you're still here, right?
Okay. My camera is really just not vibing with me today. You can see an outline of my head, but you can't see a whole lot more than that.
Hey, we can hear you. That's all that matters, right?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, when we get into the game, you guys don't have to see
hey,
us
there he is.
Here we go. So it just cuts out back in. But anyways, guys, so before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors because, you know what? We would not be able to put on this production without them. So really huge shout out to them. St. Clair College Alumni Association, PC Outlet, the Zekelman School of Business and Information Technology, St. Clair College, Tim Hortons, and the St. Clair SRC. Like I was just saying, could not put on these streams without them. Thank you guys for all the support, all these sponsors, and thank you to the viewers as well. We'd like to have all you guys in here. We'd like to have you guys supporting the stream. Wouldn't be possible without you guys either. So really appreciate the support from our sponsors and those viewers that you guys back at home. So thank you so much for tuning in here as we are just around the corner getting underway with some CR6 action.
Absolutely. Everyone seems to have gotten their computer issues all figured out here. And quickly going to just kind of sum up our Texas A&M squad, since I do have them here. So on the side of Texas A&M, players are going to be Sid3, Jinro, Chief, Crazy, and Podwanker. And then on the side of St. Clair, of course, you've been following them for most of this season. We do have Impact, Big Papa, Chars, Zombie Dude, and Bonk Bonk, formerly known as Kira. So should be a good matchup in just a second. I think I see some R's being thrown around here. Just going to double check since, of course, I have the lobby in my control. So I'm going to quickly double check here with them. But you excited for your first R6 cast?
Yeah, excited could be one word for it, but nervous is definitely going to be another one. That's why I had to give a quick disclaimer to the chat saying, hey guys, cut me a break, man. It is my first time here on the mic for some CR6. There's been times where I've was casting CSGO or something like that, right? And people in the chat will be like, oh, you Dollar Tree caster, or whatever it may be, right? But you know what? Like, at that point, I could say, all right, I casted CSGO over 100 times in my life. Like, you can't be saying that, whatever. But now the CR6, like, it's a little bit of a different story. So really just hoping that I can, pick up things fairly quickly and just, kind of get the ropes of things. Being very experienced in the FPS scene should help me a good amount here, at least on the play-by-play type of stuff. But overall, we do got the ban and protects going on right now from the operator side of things.
Yeah, I'd rather be a dollar store caster than a dumpster caster, so at least he leveled up in that regard. But anyway, let's hop on in to pick some bans. Of course, Thatcher going to be taken off the board right away. Those EMP grenades are still just fantastic, being able to just stop any sort of defender gadget in the area. Doesn't destroy them anymore, but still slows or completely stops them for at least a little while, which means we still have one more attacker to get off the board here on Oregon. Hibana, so one of the hard breachers, going to get taken off the board from Texas A&M. Now it's just a matter of defenders. Texas up next. I'm going to assume that Mira is going to get taken off the board somewhere, but I'd love to be wrong. We'll have to see just a second what's going on.
Yeah, so, I mean, Thatcher and Hibana already out, and just as you anticipated, Mira off the board. So now that's going to be St. Clair College here now on their banning side of things. So let's see what happens. I mean, we've already seen 3 characters down, so this is going to be Cade out of this game. So St. Clair are going to be banning that one here, at least on this map. And we're going to be about to get into things here, Dan. I'm really excited. Let's see how things get played out.
Yeah, fair enough. Going to take some of the electricity play away from the defenders. Because, of course, bans are on both sides here in Siege. So got a little bit less toys to play with, so to speak, here. Of course, some of these walls being close together does make it pretty nice for Cades to make plays, but I'm going to take that away nice and quick.
Yeah, so, you know, we do see a Jaeger, Smoke, Goyu, Malusi, Castle, Yang, Thermite, Maverick, Zofia, and Yana. I mean, this is a fairly typical setup, I would assume, right? I mean, like, just by looking at things here, like, I mean, there's nothing really out of the ordinary by the looks of it. I mean, most of this stuff is fairly common. Like you were saying, you're taking Jaeger. Like, Jaeger's going to be picked almost every single time around. So no really surprises here for that. And we got the defense set up here, now getting underway.
Yeah, so of course, just to kind of top off what you were saying there in regards to the picks. For St. Clair, like you're saying, very standard. However, one thing that is kind of interesting to me is this attacking setup coming out here from the side of Texas A&M. The Iana is something that we don't really, or in the past haven't seen too often, but has been kind of picking up in popularity over the last couple of weeks or so. Of course, with her ability and whatnot, is basically being able to make a clone of herself and basically use herself as a drone while also baiting people out. So it can be really good at gathering some additional information. Hopping on through. Attack is now underway. It's going to actually be General there on the Iana, who's going to have the diffuser, so definitely something we're going to have to keep an eye on as the game goes on. But 3 sources of hard breach on the side of Texas A&M as well, between the Maverick here for Chief, Praise here on the Thermite, and Podwinker on the Ace. So basically, so much destruction is available to the squad, and if you include Zofia there for Sid, this building is not safe here for the Saints.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, exactly. Like you were saying with all 3 of those hard breaches, like, they can really just break their way through fairly nice. And you know what? Like, they can just completely smash through this whole site. And overall, like, I mean, St. Clair, I mean, we've seen pretty much of a slow play so far, but typically that's the start you see on most of these early rounds. Texas A&M just trying to get in their positions. Podwinker actually is going to spot somebody with this drone there, so that's a good amount of intel now given to the side of Texas A&M. Now, St. Clair College, can they turn around? Will they find this player in the corner? Yes, they do, but that's going to be Podwinker actually getting peppered down a little bit, and Impact opens things up, taking down Podwinker.
Okay, so that's a good start here for St. Clair, considering they have the player advantage now. Ray's going to be picking up that diffuser instead. And, of course, with these siege rounds, basically, it's like you're kind of cooking it a little bit. You got to let it marinate a little bit until, like, maybe the last 30 seconds. And that is when you're going to see everybody just go absolutely guns blazing, completely crazy. At least for Saints attacks. Some other teams decide to do other styles, but at the same time, just trusting your gun skill in those last couple seconds is a very common strategy. But with a minute left, Texas A&M, of course, still a player down. They don't necessarily have much control over this site as of right now, so things are a little bit awkward. They are outside the kid's bedroom, so they should be able to make a a play sometime soon, but we'll see in just a second. Of course, they know where the bomb is, but can they actually get there?
Yeah, so like you were saying, that's going to be Side actually taking down Impact. So Impact was the first one who got that initial kill, but he will fall shortly after. Bonk Bonk, that's going to be formerly known as Kira looking for something, but Char is going to fall for Jinro as well. And there's Kira down too. So now we got a 2v4 off the Big Pop and Zombie Dude, and this bomb is getting planted. Very good late attack from the side of Texas A&M. Now all up to St. Clair to go in this 2v4, use the bomb, take down these players, and this is just going to be so difficult on the side of Big Pop and Zombie Dude.
Of course, very awkward situation here for St. Clair. Sure, Zombie Dude's pretty full health, but nothing can deny that quicker than a quick shot to the skull. A good little flank there from Zombie Dude to at least pick one up. It's still the 1v3. This is a tough task.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's just hard because you only have 15 seconds remaining here now. He's going to spawn another one. So he's actually got 2 of them. So very good stuff further from him. You know, find a couple picks at least. But at this point now, like, I just still don't see a situation where he's able to defuse it. And exactly as shown, Praise will get that cleanup. Texas A&M going to be leading this game now 1-0.
Yeah, sure enough. It was a valiant effort there from Zombie Dude, but I mean, that was a very tall task with everybody on the side of Texas A&M in their post-plant positions. I don't know how he would have been able to pull that one off, but still gave it a valiant effort nonetheless. But it looks like we're going to be... Actually, yeah, we are going to switch things up. They were looking to hold the second floor kids room once again, but it looks like they're going to switch things up to the laundry room instead. A little bit of a switch up, or no real switch ups in regards to their operators as of this moment on either side, unless we do see a 6 pick over to something in a moment.
Yeah, so I mean, so far right now, you know, fairly similar setup to the last time around. I mean, just a couple changes like you were saying, but overall, I mean, Texas A&M with those breaching characters, they have really made a good impact in this one. You know, just going through, being able to use those operators to the best of their abilities and really just breaking their way through a site. And with all those breachers, like you were talking about, it really allows them to wait till those last 40 seconds hit, and then they can really just fly in there. They can take control of the site fairly quickly. So very good stuff there from Texas A&M. Let's see if St. Clair can turn things around here and really stop that late round push.
Yeah, for sure, because for the most part, that start that they had, they were the player up, but eventually just all fell apart there for St. Clair. Some just solid shots from Texas A&M. And of course, again, Zombie Dude did come up clutch, had himself a solid attempt, but...
Thank you, CollegiateR6, for the raid of 39.
Oh, let's go.
Let's go. Let's go, CollegiateR6. I'd like to thank you guys for coming in here. I mean, I got lots of eyes here on my first R6 cast, Danners. You know, you got me shaking my boots here a little bit. But overall, round number 2, getting started. Texas A&M still going to be on the attacking side of things. St. Clair College, can they turn things around and play a little bit better late round defense?
Yeah, we'll have to see. It took this Texas A&M squad a little bit of a long time to actually even get themselves inside the building last time by. But at least now, sure, of course the defense is all happening down in the basement, but at least they're moving around. They're looking for plays. Not all of those hatches are actually reinforced, so it could be the case for some easy access for some of these attackers if they do end up opting to breach it, which of course they have plenty of options to be able to do so. We'll see in just a moment, of course. Still 2 minutes on the clock. Texas A&M, they don't have to rush in the slightest, so it's good to see them slowing down. And sure enough, we are going to see Chief just tear this apart. So just as many holes as possible, as many exit routes, as many ways into the site as well. Podwinker looking to move in.
Yeah, for sure. So here we go. You know, this is where the attack is really going to start kind of coming down. 1:35 on the clock. And, you know, Texas A&M, like you said, look at this. They're even making even more holes right now in the floor. Providing them as much angles as they can, really, to get through these sites. And that's a little concerning if you're from the side of St. Clair. There's so many different angles. They have to be so cautious now on their movements.
Good little call out there from Sid as well, finding all the mute jammers. So as much as they want to use, they should be able to use pretty well freely. We're starting to see a lot of this utility end up getting dumped in here, and Bonk going to find himself on the board first, as Sid does go down.
Yeah, very good stuff there from St. Clair. You know, they had the first blood last time around, but it's just, can you capitalize on it now, Danners? That's the big question, because they had a 5v4, and then they pretty much got themselves stuck in a 4v2. So Zombie Dude, he's going to go down. That's going to even up the tides here a little bit now. 4v4. And Jinro really trying to find an angle on a few of these players just on the other side of this wall, but doesn't really look like he'll be spotting anything. Podwinker could find the feet of this player here if he peeks through the hole, but, I mean, very good timing there from the guy of St. Clair's side. And, you know, you see these gas grenades go out here. Now Jinro's still in a very good angle. And, I mean, Texas A&M, they're just so close to finding so many of these kills right now. Just don't have that angle. But Praise going to be taking down Chars. 4v3 here now, but the trade is out. Oh, my God. Kira, Bonkbok, and Impact all going to find some kills here. 2v2 now in play. And it's going to be all up to Big Papa and Impact.
Big Papa ends up being the last one alive. It's up to Podwinker and Chief to finish this off. Can Big Papa find himself in a good position? He still has his Nitro Cell available as well. As long as he doesn't completely expose himself. That diffuser was down for such a long time, actually. Can they even get this thing planted? They're going to try, but Chief coming in clutch. Big Papa going to go down. That's going to be Texas A&M up 2.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I don't even know if they had time to get that diffuser down. Like, if Big Papa had to rush through there. But I'm fairly certain he actually did. So that's going to result in Texas A&M getting that 2-0 lead here over St. Clair College. And like you were saying, with them just being on Oregon, it just looks a little, like, kind of sketchy, I guess I could say, right? Like, I mean, like, they get those first early frags. They are able to really kind of open up their defensive side of things a little bit more. However, Texas A&M just providing them so many different angles of opportunity to allow themselves to break through this point, find these angles on these St. Clair players, and really kind of just screwing their setup very last minute.
Yeah, the polish just isn't necessarily here for the Saints over the season. That being said, though, still very early into this game. They've had they had themselves some close rounds here, just barely getting missed. And to be honest, that was close. In theory, like Big Papa, had he taken care of Chief, that would have been basically it, because Praise on the Thermite at the time was planting that diffuser, and had he either been interrupted or taken out, that would have been the round for St. Clair. But unfortunately there for the Saints side of things, Big Papa did end up getting taken down. Good coverage from Chief to finish that one off. But now, back up to the second room, or on the second floor rather. Didn't work first time by, but going to try this again. One of the more comfortable sites to defend here on Oregon.
Yeah, you know, they tried to change things up here a little bit, like saying, hey, let's go to the basement side of things here. But, you know what, overall, they're going to go up top. They're going to be setting up all the reinforcements here. You know, the attackers will start moving here in just a few seconds. But overall, St. Clair College really kind of looks like they want to bite back here very shortly. Chars and Big Papa just unable to find something here on the board so far. But Impact is doing a very good job of getting early frags in this round and opening things up for St. Clair.
And it is definitely interesting for the Saints, considering Big Papa, he's definitely had himself quite the shift over the over the semester, over the season, because for the longest time, he was one of the entry fraggers for St. Clair. But now you do see him more and more playing these supportive-based characters, whether it be, or these operators rather, with OMI in this situation, because normally, like for the longest time, we would see him on something like the Jaeger, which of course you see pretty commonly, but the fact that he's so quick and with his solid gun as well, he's an absolutely like fragging monster. Normally that'd be Big Papa's role, but over the past couple of weeks, it's been the switch up. It's been a little bit more Bonk, who was the support for the most part over the last little while. So maybe a couple late season changes, trying some things up considering the results as of so far, but definitely something to keep an eye on.
You also got, like you're saying, definitely something to keep an eye on. Like, you got to show some, like, slack kind of where it's due, right? Like, you're playing something you're not as maybe used to playing as much. You know, you're not going to be playing as great, as Almidu does go down here early to Jinro, and this actually provides the first blood in favor of Texas A&M this time around, and will give them that early player advantage, which is very concerning for St. Clair, because they weren't even able to execute when they got the early player advantage. So when Texas A&M able to get that first blood, very concerning here for St. Clair.
Now, one thing I did not give any credit to for the side of Texas A&M is this is the first time all season that I've seen the Dokkaebi be in play, and so far it is doing mad work. Of course, at any point, just being able to buzz the defender's cell phones and give their positions away is such an undervalued ability. And then, of course, if you can go over to those cell phones, you can hack all the defender cameras, which is just that much more of an icing on the cake situation. It's a little bit hard to pull off sometimes, but Praise and the rest of Texas A&M off to a good start. We're only losing Podwinker, eventually going to get evened up here as Praise does end up going down.
Yeah, so very good stuff from the Saints, you know, rebounding on those early picks that came through from Texas A&M, really able to even up the tides, making things a 3v3. And we actually will see Bonkbok find another one there, now a 3v2. This is looking good for the Saints. Chief going to be spotting out one of these players here, and Bonkbok is actually going to fall. I keep wanting to call him Kira. But overall, yeah, so we do see a 2v2 here now in play. And there's a player, oh my god, Well, they see him. He's just right on the bunk beds. They can't spot him from outside side. Going to be forced to jump in to peek on Impact there, but Impact has a fairly good angle with this shotgun there. And Big Papa, he's going to be just holding another angle with his submachine gun. So it's going to be fairly interesting to see what happens. That gas grenade actually going to be taking down. Sorry, Big Papa going to go down to Chief. And Impact still alive here. Side, very little health. Chief going to be getting this bomb down. He spots the play. He gets the kill. There's only one more player he has to worry about. He's behind the bunk bed. And that is going to be a St. Clair round win. He stopped that bomb plant, and you know what? Like Texas A&M, they just had no time to get the plant down. So very good stuff, keeping his life from behind that bunk bed. And now that's going to put St. Clair College on the board.
That was incredibly close there for, I believe that was Impact on Smoke. Because, yeah, if he gets taken down in those last couple seconds, doesn't matter if you stop that defuse, because the timer would have stopped with everybody being dead, but just enough juking and jiving to keep himself in the game. Beautifully done there to get Saints on the board finally. As of right now, though, we're going to see no Dokkaebi this time by. Is going to be Praise. So actually looking to 6-pick off something that could switch things up. We'll have to see in just a second. Would have been the first time we would have seen him play the Nomad, so we'll see in just a second.
For sure. But I mean, overall, like we do fairly see a lot of the same ability, like operators, coming out from these players going through here from round to round. You see a lot of things transferring over, saying, hey, every round you can say, hey, what's working, what's not working, and you can change it up every round, which is one thing that's nice. It's not like you're picking an operator to play all of defense or all of offense. You know, being able to really analyze what your opponent is doing and pick what you guys want based on what they're doing is something like I find very good about R6 and just a whole, like, you know, something very specific. Because like usually if you're playing other games and something where you pick an operator for, let's just say like Overwatch, for example, like you're not constantly changing that operator.
10 seconds left before
Yeah, it's always like it's either a mixture of personal preference plus based on the site, because of course some operators just do better in certain locations, like narrow, like corridor with very few doors. Sure, stick a Clash there or something with a riot shield, just really interfere. Or you know they're going to be traveling a certain way, pick somebody who has a bunch of mines. Like you can definitely switch it out based off of the site itself. But at the same time, if you want to keep trying using the same things, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of style, then by all means you can try that out too. And just the nice extra layers of creativity that you can pull off here in Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, for sure. And overall, I mean, if we see things get started here, 5v5 under play, the attack is now coming in from Texas A&M. St. Clair College does a very good job previously, you know, of playing the defensive side of things, and they were down like in a 5v3 early in this one. They were able to turn things around and really win the round there. You got to give credit to where it's due. Impact goes huge at the very end there and just cleans things up on that bomb planter as we just saw. So St. Clair College now really looking to tie the scoreline up here a little bit as Texas A&M currently sitting at 2, St. Clair College at 1.
Yeah, we got to kind of see the Iana hologram or clone, whatever you want to call it, in action there. Able to see that, okay, this area is nice and clean. We can move in pretty quickly. So now you see Jinro and Podwinker all making their way towards the basement. Slowly but surely. There looks like there's no ADSs in this area, at least as of this moment. So smoke's going to take effect. We'll see Praise is up in the top as well. So we're going to be looking for that top-down angle. Zombie Dude, however, going to start things off strong. Find the kill on the Podwinker.
Yeah, for sure. So very good stuff there from the Saints. And you know what? That's going to be Bonkbok finding side as well. So a 5v3, very good stuff from the defender side of things, because when you're an attacker and you have to go against, so somebody will get cleaned up, but when you have to go against, you know, almost nearly twice as many players as you have on your side, makes every single gunfight, you know, rather than a one-on-one, more or less like a two-on-one at that point. So very good stuff there from the Saints to get that early player advantage. We do actually see Kira, Bonkbok, fairly weak, and he will get cleaned up from Praise. Now we have a 3v3 in play, and that's Praise actually going huge with 2. Will take down Chars as well. Don't see those too often, but you know, it does come out and does pay off. Now, just a typical 2 back alive. Impact and Big Papa, and Impact will find one there on a Chief. Now, Praise and Jinro, both of them are kind of weak. Like, I mean, Jinro not as much as Praise nearly, but overall, I mean, Impact's in a very good spot here. Someone does decide to
It does have those smoke grenades as well, and you can see Jinro was forced to move aside, considering like wanted to post a plant, cannot do so, and now literally tickle either of these members of Texas A&M, and they will just blow over.
Yeah, like you can literally hit them with one bullet pretty much anywhere at this point in time, and they are just flowing over, like you said. And Impact gonna show exactly that as he does take down Jinro. Now all to Praise. Praise will come through and clean up Big Papa, but that is gonna be Impact there for that trade. Very good stuff from Impact in these late rounds. I mean, he's gone huge to win these past 2 rounds for St. Clair.
Clutching it up once again here for St. Clair, and honestly, valiant effort there from the side of Texas A&M. That double kill was still absolutely possible going if you went headshot. That would have been absolutely beautiful, but it is going to be shut down, and Saints have themselves for the first time in not just this round, but in quite a few matches. Like, for once, they've gotten themselves to a point where they're winning multiple defensive rounds in a row, so a nice little boost of momentum for them as we get ready to tackle the kitchen for the first time. And I would have been extremely surprised if we saw Podwinker pull out the lion. Might be sixing it off to something else, but we'll see in a second. But Saints, for the first time all season, or not for all season, but for the last little while, definitely showing some life here.
Yeah, I mean, very stuff, very good stuff. Like, they have really struggled throughout this. And for them to be, at least tied up 2-2, like, we got to give a little bit of credit where it's due. Because like you're saying, Oregon, very scary to see the Saints on. Because, they haven't always been super successful on Oregon. So for them to be able to at least tie things up here after being down 2-0 really shows that, hey, guys, we can come back. This team is beatable. Like, we can take them down. Let's do what we do best. Let's just clean things up here. And, let's try to take this win. And it's very shown that, Impact and Big Papa, Big Papa might not be performing hugely at the very end game, but he's really helping, Impact get in positions, call-outs, information-wise, and just letting Impact go and do what he does. So Impact going to win those past few rounds because of that. And now St. Clair College trying to take their first lead here of this matchup as we head into defense round 5.
It's always a mindset of, I don't mind dying as long as you clean up. And right now, it's been working so far here for St. Clair, almost finding the one member on the ground floor. Praise getting pretty weakened up here, considering he's the top frag on the side of Texas A&M. Having him go down early would be absolutely devastating for the squad. Of course, still early nonetheless.
Will Pepper zombie you a little bit in the process, so they are very similar health between two of them. I think they're actually the exact same. But, I mean, overall, to have him weaker is very good stuff, though, because like you're saying, he is that top frag, and for him to actually be, just easier to kill kind of moving forward, as you would say, is very good news there for the Saints, making the top frag a little more vulnerable.
Lots of explosions, lots of movement here for the Saints to try and deal with. See Char's in position, and then, of course, we're going to see the Ionic Clone get instantly taken down, and it looks like Jinro wants a fight, looking for whoever that player was on the side of St. Clair, try and go after them, but we can see the outlines. Obviously they cannot, so let's see who in the world that's. Okay, that is Char's on the other end, so we keep an eye on that. But it looks like they're trying to find some hard breaching off in the other angle onto, I believe that is the A site, able to get through there if they really wanted to, but they're giving themselves some avenues of attack here with the last minute 30 left to go.
Yeah, so like you're saying, lots of breaching going to result in Podwicker being able to find Chars. Now a 4v5 for the Saints, seeing if they can turn things around here in Texas A&M, and that's going to be Zombie Dude falling too cheap as well. So 3v5 going to be very difficult to play this defense now this time around, because you know what? You have 3 defenders to play against these 5 players. It's going to be a tall task no matter what, and you will see Praise dropping this bomb here. Now going to be all up to the Saints to go and play for this defuse. Let's see what they can do. They only have 42 seconds on the clock to find, 5 players, get a defuse. It's just such a difficult task. But there's a great start from Bonk to clear down Podwinker. Now you will see Impact and Big Papa coming through, but Impact gonna fall. Now a 4v2, Big Papa falling shortly after, all up to Bonk in a 1v4. I mean, he is the player you would want alive in a situation like this. However, just not ideal whatsoever. He tries to get an angle, but Praise will peek out at the perfect time. And that's going to be Texas A&M taking another round on the board and taking their lead back in this game. Okay,
so Texas A&M going to hit Saints with the combo breaker, and that ultimate feels bad, man. When you had the cursor, you're aiming down sights towards an angle, and as soon as you let go of it, sure, that's when you pop out around the corner. And it's going to catch Bonk that time by, but even if he did win that gunfight, it would have definitely been a tough one. And right now, one more round before we have halftime and get to see the Saints on the attacking side of things, where they've struggled more on Oregon compared to the defensive side of things. But it's good to see them basically keeping even here with Texas A&M as we hit, of course, round 6. Because past games we've seen in the season so far, it's they weren't necessarily pretty, to say the least. This is still anybody's game.
Yeah, like to at least see St. Clair drop a couple rounds here on the defensive side of things, like you were saying, to keep themselves in this one. Very good stuff from them, because if you just look at things directly on paper, like Texas A&M is a clear-cut favorite to win this one, just because how much St. Clair has been struggling lately throughout the season. So to have Texas A&M already dropping a couple rounds here early, that's very good news from the Saints, and could really help them here trying to pull off this upset.
Yeah, and with us trying to do some of our homework prior to the match, we were asking some of the players of St. Clair. It's like, hey, do you know what Texas A&M University's record is? And they're like, we have absolutely no clue, but they're damn good. So I mean, at least they aren't necessarily
Unaware.
Like,
yeah,
unaware. They know that they're a relatively strong team, but they don't necessarily know how strong. Because I know if you do end up going up against a squad with like a much better record than you, for example, it can be easy to throw off your psyche right before the game even begins.
exactly.
I mean, they have
last thing you can do.
yeah, and Saints have respect for this team, but they don't know necessarily how much to give, which, to be honest, is probably a benefit for them right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to completely agree with you there. So this is actually gonna be the last round of defense, if I'm not correct.
Yeah, you're
So
right.
now we're actually going to see here St. Clair, if they can tie things up at 3 pieces and go into offense with at least a tie game, saying, hey guys, this is definitely possible. Now let's pull things off. Let's tighten this one up. And I mean, overall, oh my god, you see this ball, but there's just a player on the other side of that. That's going to be a bonk block falling early to side. That is not a frag that you want to see happen early, as bonk block has been playing very well so far throughout this one, currently sitting at 6-4. But Impact still alive, 7-3. He's going to be the man you want to watch here now, as we are headed into this 3v5, where Saints really going to have to turn these tides a little here and find a few early frags to really, try to kind of take back in this game.
Yeah, right now, Texas A&M just basically popping off here. Prey's sitting there on 10 kills before half. He has been on an absolute tear here in this game so far. Fantastic start. Spots out Chars as well. Is he just going to straight up go for the fight? He might not necessarily, but Podwinker is. But a nice little kill there from Chars to at least keep it even. He might find himself a second. Podwinker is down, but not quite out as of this moment. He finds Chief as well. Double kill, maybe a triple. Let's see how far he can go.
Yeah, very good stuff there from Chars. And I mean, a 2v3 way easier than, a 3v5. And we actually do have Podwinker down. So for the Saints, like, overall, like, you are in a fairly good position. Podwinker is going to get revived, so he is going to come up with about 1 bar of health. But overall, if Chars can just keep doing what he's been doing so far, I mean, unfortunately, going to get naded there from Jinro. But Big Papa, if you want to turn up, this is your time to show it.
Absolutely has to go through 3. We are going to see the diffuser go down, and sure enough, going to have to stop because Jinro realizes Big Papa is basically within the vicinity to try and stop this. He is going to go down once again, is going to plant it. It's going to be Big Papa versus 2 once again to finish things off. Going to be close, a tough, but not impossible. Let's see if he can do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's one player right on to his right, and then there's one player just jiggle peeking this door, kind of just keeping that intel on Big Papa. I like this little wraparound play from him, but he will not be able to spot this player lying down just behind that barrier. And I mean, he only has 22 seconds to work with here now. Overall, like, if you are from the side of Big Papa here, like, it is just such a difficult task. With him shooting, they know exactly where he is. They know exactly what they have to do. I just don't see him able to pull off this one. And that is going to be Texas A&M taking the round up 4-2 as we head in to half.
Yeah, unfortunately there for Big Papa. He was looking for some of the predictable spots that maybe somebody was hiding in a post-plant position, but unfortunately not going to find anybody hanging out there. So sides are going to switch 4-2 in the favor of Texas A&M, and we get to see the Saints take on the attacking side of things. Curious as to what each team's play styles, their differences as we hop into this next one. One thing that's probably not going to change is they're going to have a smoke. It's basically constantly on defense as well as the Jaeger. Going to see Side pick that one up and then Praise on the smoke as well. And to be fair, a pretty similar defensive setup and relatively similar attacking setup coming out here from St. Clair. So it just seems to be the way you play Oregon, I guess. Unless we do see the Multi get picked up here by Jinro. That'd be a nice little switch up of sorts if you're not too worried about grenade utility. Yeah, it's going to be the case.
Here we go, getting underway here, with, the second half of this matchup. And really hoping to see things kind of turn up for the Saints here. I mean, that last round of half was huge because there's a big difference of a tie game going into your offensive side of things than being down 4-2. So to see, Texas A&M now 4-2, that could really take a hit to St. Clair's momentum. And like you were saying, I mean, it's more or less on St. Clair's offense that struggles on Oregon rather than their defense. So let's just hope that they can tighten things up here. Let's hope these scrims lately have been doing wonders for the Saints. And if they can really, kind of turn up here and get things kind of, fixed up here. Like, I mean, even if fixing a few of the small mistakes, you might not, well, let's say you don't win these rounds, but at least fix some of the mistakes you've made previously. That is something you would love to see from the Saints.
For sure. And now that the attack is underway, we're going to see Genro fire off some of his pest controls, which, of course, he 6-picked that Mozzie, so the side of St. Clair does not know that operator is even on the board here. So they're going to drone in and realize, oh, wait, we can't go into certain angles. We'll see if we can catch a drone in just a second. But the big old red icon, basically the no-go zone, unless you want to get your drone stolen. And that's going to slow things down here between the Mute and the Mozzie. That is a lot of drone scouting and information denial that Saints have to deal with. And anytime you have to play going in blind, it is absolutely brutal, to say the least, because you're basically playing off of reaction, and that's not exactly the most optimized way to play this game.
Yeah, for sure. Cannot agree more with you there. So here we go. St. Clair starting their offensive side of things here now, and let's see what they can do. I mean, it's going to be fairly interesting overall, and the big thing here is just going to be having a team orchestrated push, right? Rather than just feeding this side of Texas A&M, challenging gunfights one-on-one, be ready for some trades. Be ready to have that communication transfer to your teammates. Be ready to, explain where players are and just get that call-outs through. So you're going to see Kira, or Bongbong, I'm always doing that so far, but you're going to see him kind of put a little bit of a hole through this wall here, just trying to see what he can spot. But overall, he's just going to be taking out a piece of utility there, I believe. And that is going to be still a 5v5 play, but we do have some shots going down. And St. Clair College find an early pick.
I mean, good little move there from Bongbong, however, he is going to get picked up here by side. By him taking out that mute jammer, it does mean that the Saints can breach through there if they do find the opportunity. However, they might not find the opportunity, considering a bunch of them tend to be falling. Big Papa trying to change things up, however, Charles is going to go down 2v4 to close out the round.
Yeah, very good stuff from Big Papa was able to find one, but now he's got himself in a little bit of a sticky situation, and he will be cleaned up there from Pogman here. Leaves everything up to Zombie Dude. He does find side, but now they know exactly where he's located as the callouts are transferred over to the rest of the squad. Jinro, Praise, and Podwinker all looking to shut him down.
Yeah, we see this.
Oh, there's a little bit of a gunfight.
We see them dancing, but it's just a matter of time. Actually, hang on a second here. Okay, it is going to get shut down here. I had my hopes up for a second, but no. Podwinger going to shut the hope down. It's going to be Texas A&M moving forward.
Yeah, so St. Clair College now struggling a little bit, and Texas A&M to be up 5-2 now, that's a little concerning because they're only a couple rounds away from closing this one out. St. Clair, if you're going to turn up, you got to do it now. You got to get the rounds under your belt to at least, Texas A&M is one round away from being on match point, and that is very concerning if you are from the side of St. Clair. So if you're going to be trying to at least, contest this match a little bit here so far in map 1, and then you got to make your impact here in this map right now.
Absolutely. This is where you start kind of worrying a little bit, hoping that the momentum hasn't gone too far away from the St. Clair squad, especially since they're going to a map that, in theory, should benefit them a little bit more. But if you're already going into that map a little bit down, a little bit out of it, feeling a little bit negative about the last matchup, I mean, it doesn't matter if you like the map or not, you're going to just be completely out of it. So hopefully they can find themselves a couple more rounds here, maybe even bring the comeback here. Definitely have a lot of work to do if it's going to end up turning into a comeback, but you never know. Still, in theory, plenty of room, plenty of time to make something happen, but it's going to take a massive effort in order to find it.
Yeah, could not agree with you more there, Danner. So overall, defensive side just kind of doing their final touches here, setting up and preparing for the Saints attack to come through, and the Saints are going to finally be able to attack here now. Now, let's see what happens. Will there be any early frags throughout this one? Will any players get kind of aggressive towards it? You see the push now coming in from the Saints. What can they do? That is the big question here. Like I was just saying, this is a round that I would say personally is a must-win for the Saints, right? Like, you do not want to be down match point to having 2 rounds to yourself. So let's see if they can, have that in their mindset as well and really kind of turn up here.
I mean, I know it's the Saints special to really start popping off right when it's match point against them. However, like, you don't want to intentionally put yourself in that kind of position. You want to have a little bit of wiggle room if necessary. As we do see this attack getting ready to get on underway. General making a switch over to the Maestro is something to keep in mind as well. Some of those, not the Evil Eyes. Is it an Evil Eye? I can't quite remember the turret name, but either way, very well could come into effect near some of these bomb sites as well. Impact trying to lead the charge. Where's Big Papa, who is actually on that entry fragger roll? Remember I was saying a little bit earlier how he's kind of made the switch over to Sport. Not the case, and sadly for him, he's going to get shut down pretty well right away, and Podwinker's in a solid position. Find Zombie Dude. A little bit of damage, but not taking him down.
Well, a little bit of damage is a little bit of an understatement there, Danners. He's got about half a bar left. I mean, he could be feathered, and he will fall. So Zombie Dude now in a pretty tough position because, you know, it's so worrisome when you have that little health to go and peek an angle or whatever. Like, you know that one bullet, no matter where it hits you, is going to make you down. So that's a very concerning start there from the Saints. However, can they turn the tides? Can they find a couple frags here? And it is going to beat Bonk Bonk, who was just on the other side of the wall to like 3 players here.
Yeah, he's got to be careful. He's got some utility available for him, however, to see follow up with it or not. Tends to get eaten up here, but Zombie Dude is going to end up being one of the casualties here in this matchup. 3 on 5, and Bonk Bonk looks like he's in a little bit of a world of hurt. Going to go down swinging, however. Side finds him. Or he finds Sidebacker.
Leaves everything up to Impact here now in the 1v4. I mean, he will find one thing nicely there on a Jinro, but I mean, at this point still now, like, you're in a 1v3, but they know where you are now. So, like, yes, the first frag is always the easiest frags when you're in a player disadvantage, right? Because, you know what? Like, you can get that first frag, but now they know exactly where you are. They know exactly what they have to do to stop this, and Praise is going to show exactly that. That's going to be Texas A&M now advancing themselves to match point.
Yeah, unfortunately there for Impact, he went through both of his options and was kind of bouncing between the two. And it's like, okay, just somebody cover both options and you're A-okay. And sure enough, Texas A&M aren't no slouches in that regard. Cover it up nice and quickly and clean up the round. Like you're saying, bringing this to match point. Game 1 in the grasp of their hands. Just need one more round in order to clutch this one out. And then we move on to Cafe with Texas A&M taking the lead.
Yeah, and that's something very concerning because St. Clair, like we were saying, statistically at a disadvantage here in this matchup, just, you know, looking at record-wise, looking at how these teams have performed in the past couple months. So to actually see Texas A&M so close to picking up this map 1, if they do actually pick up that map 1, very, very concerning for the Saints because now, look, you're going to have to win the next 2 in a row, which, you know, at least if you can get map 1, you're like, all right, guys, we got the first one. Like, it shows that we're able to do this. Now, let's just, you know, continue to put on the pressure. Yes, you may be able to drop one more map, but then you can just secure it on the 3rd. So now the Saints, if they do lose this round, the next 2 maps are going to be must wins if they do want to come out here with at least a win on the season. But, I mean, for now, St. Clair just going to be such a tall task to try to, you know, come back. They have to win 4 rounds in a row to at least force an overtime.
And I mean, if there is any sites that you can try to maybe start the comeback, it is here on the 1st floor. It's not as comfortable. It's a spot for the defenders to try and actually hold. So we'll have to see if they can actually pull this one off. But, of course, statistically, not in their favor. But moving forward, let's see if they can make something happen.
Yeah, for sure. Could not agree more with you there. So here we go. St. Clair College on the attacker side of things. Just shooting out a couple of cameras there. And now we will see the side of St. Clair. See if they can get some early frags. That's what I found. Like, if St. Clair can get a few early frags, like, things really start to swing in their favor a little bit more. However, when they see, you know, 1 to 2 players falling early, that's what makes things concerning for the Saints because they really just can't bounce back. And it makes it very difficult for them to do so.
Absolutely. We're going to have to see because even chat's calling it out here that there's just so many isolated picks that are happening against St. Clair that they just can't get anything started. They can't get themselves in position because by the time they're ready to get themselves in position, they're already a player down and it's already thrown off a little bit. Now this is a little bit rough for Saints. They were kind of waiting for that mute jammer to go down. Finally going to get it down, so we're going to see Charz's breaching charge go on through. Give him the nice old entryway for this high ground onto the first floor sites because that's definitely something that could happen too. Having the top-down play through those hatches. As we see Bonk Bonk scouting things out, finding himself some gadgets. That ADS definitely going to be a important one as well. And bombing through, or grenading through, and here we go.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very good play, gathering the information and, playing off of it. Unfortunately, they were not able to find any damage onto the side of Texas A&M. However, you got to show a little bit of respect where it's due for the Saints right now. I mean, very good stuff there. Like, the intel is just so good to have. That's why these drones are just so useful to really come through, spot where these players are playing. And Juno going to get tagged down here a little bit for about a quarter of himself, but Chief will answer and take down Zombie Dude now to make things a 4v5 in favor of Texas A&M.
I'm not sure how many air jabs that Zombie Dude still had available, but if he didn't use any, or didn't use as much of them as necessary, could open Saints up to a flank if they are not careful. That being said, it looks like the battle head-on versus the Saints seems to be going in the favor of Texas A&M. Gonna keep on going. Char's gonna put up a fight, however. Podwinker goes down.
Yeah, so 3v4 here. Very good stuff there to, at least take down Podwinker, but Impact now falling to very minimal health. Could be very, very concerning for him, considering, he's tapped, basically, and he's done. Like, look at him out. There he goes. He will fall, and that's going to be a big puddle falling shortly after. All of the charge to 1v4. I just want to be on the side of Saints here, but I just did not really see that one happening once, Big Papa and them fell. And now, so we do actually see Texas A&M University take a 1-0 lead in the series as we get ready to go in here to map number 2.
Yeah, so Saints had a moment of hope, but then just around that mid-game, Texas A&M just flipped the switch, just absolutely went on a tear. Praise, of course, leading the charge with the top amount of eliminations in that game with 13 specifically. Wow. So beautifully done from him, but solid job across the squad. And then the Saints side of things, Impact, we know he had himself a good couple of standout moments, but not quite enough to get the job done here for game number 1. But of course, with this being a best of 3 series, we're not quite done, not just yet. We still have at least Cafe, which, like I keep saying over and over again here, that this is a map that they've basically been playing this entire season long. So if they're is basically reverse of Oregon. If there's any map that they can start a comeback here, Cafe could be it, but at the same time, I'm sure Texas A&M have been playing on Cafe constantly throughout the season as well, so pretty much an even playing field if I were to say so myself.
Yeah, for sure. Could not agree with you more there. So this one gonna be a little bit more favor in the St. Clair College kind of territory. As you were saying, like, St. Clair College haven't been looking kind of that good on Oregon so far throughout this one. So to actually hear that, we are going to be going on to a different map here now, like, that is just kind of good news if you are the Saints. Like, you get a clean slate, you get to come in with a 0-0 score line, and now this is where you can really kind of turn things up here. And if you do come out with winning this map, you got another clean slate map count-wise too, because it's 1-1. It's all going to go down to map 3. So St. Clair going to try to do whatever they can here as we are heading into map number 2. However, I mean, it's got to take a little bit of a toll on their momentum, slash morale going into this one because of, just their record throughout the season already. Losing this first game, only getting 2 rounds on the board, just kind of concerning here, especially since, they looked really good in the first, let's say 4 rounds, but it just kind of almost fell apart after that.
Yeah, but it was an even game, but then, of course, like I was saying, Texas just kind of flipped the switch. They had basically everything down pat. They were executing properly and making things extremely difficult for St. Clair moving forward. But before we do hop into game number 2, I do need to take a very, very quick break to set up the lobby. That's what we're about to hop in the cafe. It won't take too long. We'll be back within 5. We'll get to see if St. Clair can get the comeback started. Is it Texas A&M, or is this going to be another 0-2 for the Saints here to finish off the season? They're trying their damnedest, but we'll see momentarily.